Happy Tuesday, Sipsters. Welcome back to another episode of the Sippin' on Stories podcast with me, Mandy, your host. I'm so delighted that you're here. It is the week of Thanksgiving, and I could not miss the opportunity to tell all of my Sipsters how thankful I am for you for supporting this podcast. I would not have made it 8 months without all of you, so thank you. For today's episode, we have Stephanie on the podcast today. Stephanie is currently, and has been in the past, a surrogate. I have never met another surrogate in my life. So when I saw Stephanie and saw that she was on this journey of being a surrogate for her second time, I just had to reach out and ask if she would come on the podcast and talk to me all about what it is like to be a surrogate. So she is here to tell all of us about it, and even with all the good information that she shared and her experience, I know that every single surrogate's experience is different, and there's probably so much more that I know we could have talked about, and I could have kept talking to her for so long. So here's Stephanie for today's episode. Well, Stephanie, thank you for coming on the podcast today. I am grateful that you were willing to talk to me about this.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw you at the work awards thing, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so curious to talk to you. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. I like to ask all of my guests what their favorite drink is. So Stephanie, what would you say yours is?
It's funny because I actually am not a drink person at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't and it's not because I'm healthy at all or I want to be health conscious.
Uh-huh.
I am just I'd rather eat food than drink.
I get that.
Anything. So if I was gonna have water is my go-to choice, but if I am gonna drink something, it's probably Dr. Pepper.
Okay. I love my Dr. Pepper. That's my choice.
Yes.
So
yes.
Okay, I'm just going to let you start. So I really didn't prep you very much, I feel beforehand, but I would just love to know how you got started being a surrogate, what the whole journey has been like. So will you just go ahead and tell us your journey?
Okay. Well, I really, really want to be very sensitive to this subject because I realize that the reason why people have surrogacy and they need surrogacy is because they can't do what I am providing for them. Mm-hmm. So I really want to be sensitive to, people that have issues with that. But really that's what led me to do it, is because I could do it so well. I can have kids really easy, and I've been able to get pregnant whenever we decided we wanted to get pregnant. Mm-hmm. And I have 6 of my own kids, and then so that's kind of what led me to do surrogacy, is because Andrew and I, my husband, when I was pregnant with my 4th, we kind of joked about, golly, you're just really good at this. And so I was like, yeah, golly, I should do it for other people, and it was kind of a joke at first. And so then, but we're really, we really could do this and stuff. And so that's kind of what I started thinking about it after I had my 4th baby. And I knew that I didn't want to do it until after I had all my kids. And mm-hmm. So I had my 4th, and then I was planning on 5 kids was great for me. I thought that's just a good number. That's enough kids in a household. Yeah. I feel that's good. And so when I was pregnant with my 5th baby, I went downstairs to get all of my clothes out for him, and I saw the stack of girl clothes in the bins. Mm-hmm. And I just had this really, really strong impression that there was another baby, and it was a girl. And I was like, this is not the time to be thinking about having another baby. I was 2 weeks out from having him. Mm-hmm. And so I knew that I still had to push that back a little bit farther, because I knew that there was still one more baby, and it ended up being a girl. And so that was kind of a neat experience of knowing that that was the end of my family. Mm-hmm.
How many do you have of each? Do you have 3 of each?
3 and 3.
Oh, you
Yeah.
do? Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of what led us to that. And then after we were done having our babies,
Which
um,
also, sorry, quick question. Were your
yeah.
pregnancies all easy too? Like you got pregnant really easily, but throughout, were you sick or for the most part, were you
Yes.
pretty good?
See, that is the bad thing about what I have is that I get sick my first trimester and it's like really, it's sick. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm, well, with my first, I was throwing up, before, after, during a meal. Like I was throwing up constantly with him. And then the more pregnancies I had, the less I threw up. So it was about after my third, I stopped throwing up, but I just felt really, really sick.
Mm-hmm.
And but I just kind of got tired and stuff. So just kind of the normal, like a normal sick, normal tired, but it lasted like my whole first trimester. So my first trimester is a little rough. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, it is seriously like so breezy.
No, that's
I
nice.
did have, yeah, I did have a few like little issues like with each of my pregnancies. I always had small babies. Like they all thought that they weren't growing. I measure small on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And so they always were watching the babies just to make sure like that they were actually growing, but they were totally fine when they came out. And then, because I think they settle in my pelvis or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I carry them weird. And so,
But when I saw you, I was like, oh, you're due so soon. You did not look like you were that far along. So
it's
yeah, you're
crazy.
such a cute pregnant person.
Oh, it's so weird. I carry him so weird and I don't even like show for a long time. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know where they nestle in,
Yeah.
but they do. They go somewhere in my hips or something. It's so funny. And so yeah, so and then like with my second I had to have a C-section because he went breech after they broke my water. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was kind of a concern of like having VBACs, but I was a what's it called, a candidate for VBACs. So I had VBACs ever since. And then with my with my third baby, she had a placenta issue. It was kind of weird. So they watched her. She came 2 weeks early. And then with my sixth, she came 5 weeks early because she had intermittent flow with her blood, like the cord and stuff. So that's the one thing that kind of shied me away from doing surrogacy too, because there's a lot of different kind of qualifications that you have and you have to pass to
Mm-hmm.
be able to have it. You can't really have complications with your pregnancies. That's kind of a red flag for surrogacy. And so that kind of made me think, ooh, I don't even know if I qualify. Like I have a desire to do it, but I don't even know if they'll accept me to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of what. So then I started looking into it, and what's really funny about the whole thing too is I never like grew up being like I want to be a surrogate. Like that's
Yeah.
not, it was never like a dream of mine or
Yeah.
anything. Like I never imagined that I would carry other people's babies. Like even my kids, it's so funny. Like people ask me all the time, they're like, "What do your kids think about this?" And I just say like they're used to it now. Like their mom has other people's babies, like
Yeah.
you know.
When you're a
And
kid, you
so
just like make sense of whatever's going on around you.
yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and they don't know that other moms don't do this for other
Yeah.
people. Like it's
This is
so
normal.
funny.
Everybody does this. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then we started looking into it a year after my our sixth was born, and like I kind of got discouraged. I really did kind of get discouraged at first because there was like tons of tests that you had to do. There was lots of like medical like history things that you had to send in.
Was it
And
all
like I
like
said,
online or was it like a place in town that you could go to that would like walk you through all of this?
well, and that's the thing. That's a good question because I didn't know anybody that had ever done this. And I
Yeah.
actually was kind of embarrassed, like to be quite honest. Like at first I was like really, really hush hush about doing it because I
Yeah.
I don't know why I was embarrassed. I think I was just like, this is so weird. I don't know anybody that does this. Like
Yeah. I've never met anybody else that's done it. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I was like, who does this? This is the weirdest thing. And so I kind of like researched a ton just online. So you can go through agencies, you can do what's called independent journeys, and you can just, find random people and all this stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people go through agencies.
Which would
And
make sense, I guess.
yeah,
Like
so the
legally, that
agent,
probably is easier.
yeah, and the agency is the way that I look at an agency now that we didn't go through an agency, but at first we were to try to find the couple, and it's kind of like a dating
Oh,
thing.
I'm sure.
It's really funny. So you put all of your stuff in, you like tell about your family, like you tell about yourself, you submit pictures and everything. And then the agency will get the people that they have, their couples or, families or whatever that need a surrogate. And they'll try to like mix and match, like they'll try to match you with a family that you're wanting to do. And so we just kind of submitted our stuff, and they kept on telling us. We went through an agency at first in Boise, and they kept on telling us, yeah, there are so many families that need a surrogate. There's so many families. And we started this in April. And so we were just like waiting and waiting, and like nobody was coming, like nobody was showing up. And we were like, I thought people are dying to have surrogates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And um so we just kept on waiting, and like in July we got matched with a couple from Australia, and then that kind of fell through, and then we got matched with like kind of this celebrity person. It was kind of weird. And
Do you know who it
they
was?
no,
Oh,
they
dang.
like it was like they weren't a celebrity. They were She was like, her dad was kind of a celebrity that was basically paying to have a baby. It was really
Oh,
weird.
interesting.
It was so weird. It was the weirdest thing. And I feel like we got these people to be like, oh my gosh, like almost like, have you seen Mrs. Doubtfire when she's,
Yeah.
you know, like all the people are calling in, and then finally Mrs. Doubtfire calls and was like, she's the one. Like I felt like we were getting all these weird people and these weird matches. Like we got another match that was like some guy that lived in his parents' basement, and he was
Oh.
single, and we were like, that's not what we want, like that's not our picture, like that's not kind of who we're jiving with.
Uh-huh.
And so finally it was just so weird because July came, and the other thing about this is like you kind of have to put your life a little bit on hold because you have to be ready to start your medication according to like your cycle.
Yeah.
So whenever your cycle comes, like you start your medication like right after and stuff. And so like it kind of goes month to month, but then it's very time, like everything is very time sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't plan anything because we were just like waiting for a match. So then, July comes, August comes, and we just kept on getting these weird things, and we kept on telling the agency this is not like who we want. And so Andrew and I made kind of an ultimatum goal. We're just like, if we don't match by October 1st, we're just going to be like, this was a good, adventure. This was like cool to learn about, but we're going to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And so we finally, so then finally in September, we were like, we kind of like had written it off because, and the agency had kind of ghosted us, and we hadn't really heard anything and stuff. And then I had a friend from high school that texted me and said, hey, I heard that you want to be a surrogate. And like I said, I hadn't told very many people. Like
Yeah.
I told my family in July that I wanted to be a surrogate, and they were all like, well, that's kind of weird, but we're not surprised. And they're like, if anybody's gonna do it, it would probably be you.
Uh-huh.
And so so this friend had called me, or she texted me, and she's like, I have a cousin that lives in Dallas that's looking for a surrogate. And I was like, really? I was like, okay, like you can send her my info and stuff. And she texted me on September 30th.
Oh my gosh. Right
Yeah.
before your deadline.
Yes, right
Yeah.
before our deadline. And we talked that weekend, and we instantly knew that that's who we wanted to go with. And
Mm-hmm.
so we ended up doing an independent journey, is what it's called, where the agency isn't involved. Like her and I just did all of the paperwork, all of the legal, all of the scheduling of appointments, all of the medical that needs to happen, and we
Which
got it.
reminds me, when you were talking about initially like feeling discouraged about like doing all the things that you had to do to become a surrogate, were all of your stuff coming back like good too for
Yes,
that?
so that was fortunate. So the good thing about it is, so like some of the qualifications that you have to have, at least what I had found to be a surrogate was, a lot of times there's like an age range, like they want you to be between like 21 and like 41 or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And then you've had to have had a baby, your own baby, and you can't be on like any like antidepressants or any kind of medication that is like psychiatric.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be on that. You can't have any like government assistance. You can't be on any of that kind of stuff. And all of your pregnancies kind of have to pass the clinic that you're going to go to, the fertility clinic that you're going to go to. It kind of has to pass their criteria. Like they have to look at your medical records and be like, yeah, these babies and stuff or your deliveries are okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then with me, I had to get like blood work, and you have to do like these scopes that go into your uterus to make sure you have like no like polyps and cancerous things in there. So yeah, all of my stuff had come back totally fine.
Was that an
So that
expensive thing to do those tests? Because I'm assuming insurance probably isn't paying for that, right? Or
no.
are they?
So what since I was going through the agency at
Oh, yeah.
first, the
Yeah, yeah.
agency pays for that. They
Okay.
paid for it. So I didn't have to do any out of pocket
Mm-hmm.
and stuff because they wanted to just basically pre-screen me and they were going to cover those costs.
Okay.
And so it worked out that since I was with the agency, like it all got covered that way. But yeah, they are like out of pocket, they are pretty expensive.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry, backtracked a little bit,
You're
but
good.
so fast forward, you're like doing all this stuff to prepare for this like other couple.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what
So
was that?
then, so what does that like consist of?
Yeah. So, like, was that like weird at the beginning, arranging all the like particulars of everything, or was it pretty easy to do?
You know what was really, really neat about this first couple that we did it for is, and she even expressed that like we were like a long lost family member. It was
Mm-hmm.
so cute. We had like an instant connection with them, and it was so special. Like that like first journey was so special. And like we learned a lot going through that, and it was so fast, and it made it like which so you have to do legal, which means whether you anything like the fertility clinics, most fertility clinics need a contract,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the very first things that you need to have before you can be a surrogate. And so you have to get your legal, and there's each state. So they have to do the legal stuff in the state that the surrogate presides in.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to have a contract, or they have to have a lawyer with a different lawyer, and then I have to have a lawyer representing me in the same state. So getting all like you have to find a lawyer that is
Yeah.
surrogate, specialty.
Yeah.
So you get all of that done, and usually that takes like they say it takes like 6 to 8 weeks to get your legal stuff done. And we got ours done. Oh my gosh, I think we got ours done in like 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fast because we had said, we're like, it would be so ideal if we could have a transfer in January. So, like I said, we started talking in October
Mm-hmm.
and we had a transfer in January. We had everything done. All of the meds were sent to me. Like I did a mock cycle, which is called, it's a cycle where I take the medication, and your lining of your uterus needs to be a certain thickness,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to know what meds to give you to make that happen. So I did a mock cycle with them, and they got all of my dosages right the first time.
Oh, that's great.
My lining was perfect. So then they waited for me to have my cycle, and then I started the real the real prep to get the transfer. So then I was ready to do the transfer in January. So it was so fast.
Yeah. So who is it that's like sending you all this stuff? Because you're for your independent journey.
Actually, the fertility clinics are the ones that you work
Oh,
with a lot.
that makes
So
sense.
they're the ones that have like kind of a list of things that need to happen
Mm-hmm.
and for you to be there. So they make sure that you have like your insurance, and they make sure that you have like your legal stuff, and you're sending, here in Idaho, I was sending, my blood results back to them
Mm-hmm.
and referring everything back to them. So, yeah, the fertility clinic is basically, they're the ones that take over. And like, it's funny because agencies, I'm sure they have a great place in surrogacy. For us in our first journey, like it worked out that we could do it all ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
The agencies are, I feel like, kind of there to make sure everything's going where it needs to go. Whereas we were able to just get it there and check up on it ourselves and, stuff like that. So it worked out really well.
Okay, and this is maybe like a TMI question, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming with like an agency, do they set the price range? Like, how did you decide with that doing it
Right.
by yourself? Like, what's fair? Like, how did you do that?
Right. And the good thing about us doing it independent is that we got to set our own price for what we both felt comfortable with. And then the agency, so we saved them a lot of money because they didn't have to pay the agency like a set fee. I don't even know what that set fee was and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But the agency takes a set fee, and then they have to pay the surrogate on top of that.
Yeah.
So us doing independent, it saved this first couple a lot of money.
Well, we also want to know what your emotions were like. Were you scared since this was not your own baby? Or were at that point were you like ready to do it? Like, yeah, let's just do this and be excited. I feel like I would feel like a certain pressure, like more pressure having someone else's versus my own.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure because I had never had a miscarriage. I
Mm-hmm.
had never, like I said, I had never had a time where I'm like, oh, why can't I get pregnant? Like, this is weird. Like, and so everything that I had ever done, like pregnancy wise, worked the first time. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like I was like having this like anxiety of like, oh, this is the time it's not going to work. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is the time. The other thing is that the couple has embryos. So the embryos are already like, a lot of times they're like, you know, like genetically tested, and they
Yeah.
grade them on different scales of quality.
Yeah.
So each couple usually has like these frozen embryos that are ready to go. And the first couple that we did it for, they had 7 embryos originally. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Like that's a good number and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And so I didn't feel like the pressure as bad with them because we could do it so many times. Like we could make a transfer as many times as they had embryos potentially.
Mm-hmm.
But still, there was that pressure of like, because my biggest thing about the pressure was that these people are paying to have a baby. And I'm like, I'm their hope to have a baby.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of was like, so the way that I got into the mindset of it was, I was like, I just have to remember that I can only do so much. Like my body, I can take the meds, I can do the things that they want me to do. My lining can be what it needs to be, but after that, it's out of my hands. It's like literally in God's hands. So
Mm-hmm.
that perspective helped me to just be like, okay, like if it's meant to be, it's meant to be because I've tried everything and I've done everything I can.
Yeah.
So that helped me that way, like pressure wise. But still, I was like, oh, it's a lot of pressure,
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
because like naturally, like you're just like, oh, it naturally happens. But like when it's like, synthetically done, I guess you could say, or medically done, like there's still only so much control that you can have over that.
Mm-hmm. And what was it like being able to tell them that you were pregnant?
Oh my gosh, it was the coolest thing. Um, they so I kind of had a feeling that I was because I kind of started like a lot of times I think you don't realize like when you do it like naturally, I don't think you realize that you're pregnant until like you've missed a period or whatever, but like with this, like I knew exactly when the transfer was. And I
Mm-hmm.
knew exactly because when they transferred the embryo, their embryo was 19 days gestation. So it was already almost 3 weeks when they transferred the embryo. So like 2 weeks, like a week after, it starts to get into like 4 weeks and.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think I don't feel good. you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if that's like totally in my head or
Uh-huh.
if like I don't feel good, but I'm like, I really don't think I feel good. And so I kind of had a little bit of a like feeling that maybe it worked. You can take like, you do a blood test 10 days after the transfer. And so I took an at home pregnancy test 5 days after the transfer. And there was a faint line. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think it worked.
Uh-huh.
So then the next day I took another one and it got darker.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't tell the couple. Like, I didn't tell them because I'm like, I'm going to wait till the actual blood work comes back and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of had a feeling that it worked. And then the day that I was going to go in to get my blood done, I took another pregnancy test and it was pregnant. And I was just like, oh, it was like I felt so much relief
Mm-hmm.
off of my shoulders. And that was just the beginning. You know, I thought that that was because, like I said, I felt like I still couldn't like control anything after or even before the pregnancy, and the process. But I had confidence in my body after I was pregnant that it was going to be okay.
Uh-huh.
So that kind of gave me the reassurance that I'm like, okay, we got that out of the way, check that off the list. Now my body can take over. It knows how to be pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it was the funnest thing. We FaceTimed them. We made a big poster saying positive, and so it was so fun, and like and that was just the start of it.
Yeah. Do you know how long they had been like trying to have a family on their own before?
Well, the thing with this first couple is she was able to have a baby, her first baby. She was able to have that. Then she had major complications, and the doctors after that said that she couldn't have any more babies.
Okay.
And so her second, she actually had another surrogate with her second baby, and then I was their third. And
Okay.
what was really, really neat about their story is before they found us, they had gone through an agency to find another surrogate, and they'd been rejected and rejected and rejected. I think she said 13 times.
Oh wow.
People had looked at their profile and rejected them because they had already had babies. And the surrogates wanted to give a couple their first baby, whereas that was so different from my wanting. Like I wanted somebody that already had had babies or had had an experience being pregnant, because then they could understand like what that was all involved in. So I didn't care that it was their third baby at all.
Yeah.
That was actually like really relieving to me. So that was kind of their experience of finding us too. So that it was really, really neat because like we both were like, oh my gosh, we finally found somebody that
Like
we
this is
matched
what
with.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first like started feeling the baby kicks, all those things and knowing that it wasn't yours? Was it a different experience than
Um, it was the weirdest thing because when we went in to see, like, when you go in for like your very first like ultrasound to see like the little bean in the ultrasound,
yeah.
like I looked up at the screen and I knew what was going on. Like they had the wand and everything. I knew what was going on, but I was looking up at the screen and like I remember thinking like with my other pregnancies like, "Oh, my baby." And with this one, it was the craziest thing. I was like, "Oh, look, there's a baby." Like it was like it was it was such a fun, it was like such a weird thing because I think that as a surrogate, like, well, because that's another thing that you have to do before you're able and qualified is that you have to go through a psych eval. So the parents go through one, the intended parents go through one, and then the carrier goes through a psych eval. And I think that that's one thing that you have to get your mindset in is that, for one, you're not crazy and you're going to steal the baby or something, but like
Mm-hmm.
also that you realize that this is not your baby. And the thing that I've described to people, the only thing I can describe, and maybe it's because Thanksgiving's coming up, but like I have described to people that, when you eat Thanksgiving and you're so full and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so stuffed. And then your very, very favorite like dessert or salad or whatever you have at Thanksgiving is sitting there and you have zero desire to have that because you're just like so full.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I kind of describe like being a surrogate is like I do not have the desire to have more babies. And so it's not like I'm baby hungry or I'm like, oh, I see a baby and I just want to grab it and keep it and stuff. And so that's kind of how it's like helped me is because I know that I'm completely done having babies. My
Yeah.
family's complete. So I don't have that desire like when I'm carrying the baby like, oh, I'm going to have this baby and it's going to be a part of our family. It's such a different mindset whereas like everything is directed towards this couple and
Mm-hmm.
everything I'm like so excited for them to experience what I have. And so that is what has been the funnest thing is that I've been able to switch my mindset as well and be able to think, okay, this is the first of their first, and this is the first that they get to see this baby, and this is the first that they get to hear about the kicks and the movements and everything. And I've tried to really, really concentrate on that and try to kind of remember because a lot of times I'm like, oh, yeah, that's probably cool for them to know about, you know?
Yeah. How often are you
And
checking in with them, telling them things about it?
each, and honestly, each like journey is different.
Yeah.
Like your relationship with each family is different. Whereas the two that I've done it for, I have been very, very close with them. And the thing that we did with the first is I was always in communication with the mom. And I was always talking to her and always sending her updates like on the regular. And then with this second journey that we're doing, I I had said to them, I was like, you know what? I think that what would be really cool is if we could have a group text and so that Andrew and then like the dad to be could be on it with all of us. So any communication that went through, anything that happened with me or that needed to be done or appointments or anything that was talked about, it was talked about throughout the whole group. And it's the sweetest thing. We call it the like with our second the current one that I'm doing, we call it the baby bell team. And so it's so cute because it really is a team. It's
Mm-hmm.
been a team from the very very beginning. And so I see it as that. And so any communication goes directly to that through a text.
Mm-hmm. Were there any moments like during either of the pregnancies that you were like, what have I done? Like when you're like when you're almost at the end and every day feels like a week or whatever, or was it all just like, no, I'm so grateful to do this? Because my fourth pregnancy, it was rough. And I was
Right.
like, if I was redoing that, I would have been like, what did I get myself into? But
Right.
yeah.
You know, like I think that that's why like the hard times like so the only like some of the hard times that I had with the pregnancies and just with the whole surrogacy in general was taking the shots and being
Oh yeah.
sick.
Mhm.
And I personally think that like it helped that I was compensated for it.
Mm.
So anytime that it was really, really hard, I was like, okay, I'm getting paid for this. It's okay.
You can
You
maybe
know,
withstand a little bit more knowing that.
yes.
Yeah.
Whereas people that don't, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how they do it because
Uh-huh.
like that really it helps you to get through like, okay, this it kind of is like a job during those times and it's not very happy and it's not very joyful when you're sick and you're like doing shots and you're just miserable. And so that kind of like helped me to kind of switch back and forth too of like, okay, this is I'm doing this as a service, like this is a job, like I can do this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then when like the happy times, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for them, like this is gonna be great, like, you know. But I'm also very, very lucky that i I really don't have bad pregnancies, so I'm not
Mm-hmm.
like waddling, I'm not like in pain, I don't have like, you know, towards the end when you're like, oh my gosh, get this baby out. Like, I don't really have that. I don't experience that. And so I'm super, super blessed. And like I said, that's kind of what led me to do this is I'm just like, this is something that I can do. I'm good at being pregnant. So
Yeah. Which I
yeah.
guess if you had the rough pregnancies, you probably wouldn't sign up to be a surrogate,
Oh
you
no.
know, for sure.
No.
So,
Yeah.
so fast forward to like having the baby and
Oh geez.
that experience. Like, I feel like that's got to be a lot too. What was that like?
Oh my gosh. It's like, okay, I try not to let my kids hear this, but I like our first one that we did, the first surrogacy birth, it was close to trumping any of my own kids because it seriously was so cool. Like we had people, like we had nurses, like random nurses that would just come in and act like they needed to do something in the room because they just wanted to be a part of what
Yeah.
was happening. And from the get-go, so Andrew, my husband, he delivered all the babies except for my babies except for the C-section one.
Mm-hmm.
And so our doctor let him go down there and just like catch the baby and deliver the baby. So from the very, very first, I had told the first couple, I said, "Hey, you guys could catch the baby. If you want to deliver her, you can totally deliver her." And the mom was like, "Are you serious?" Because with surrogate, her other surrogate wanted her up right by her head the whole
Like,
time. She couldn't go down at all.
there's no looking down there. You don't get to
No,
see that. Yeah.
no, that's off limits, you
Yeah.
know? And so with me, I was like, who cares? Like, I mean, seriously, I've done this 7 times now. Like, I'm an open book. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing to hide.
Yeah.
And so I was totally fine with her. If she wanted to deliver her, then she could. And she ate that up. She was like, oh, I am so excited. So she she planned on delivering and everything, and it worked out so well. And it was so cute because we had kind of a timestamp of, because that's another thing, I go really fast as well. And we had a timestamp. We have a picture of her gowning up at 6:55 p.m. and the baby was born at 7.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so, so
That was really fast.
yeah, it's really fast. I literally pushed one time and then the baby was out and she was here. And so this other couple that we're, you know, currently doing it for, they're like, "So how long do you think it's going to take from like the time that she gets like that she's crowning and all this stuff?" And I was like, "I don't know. I think it's like less than 10 minutes. I don't remember what it was with those other guys." And so we looked back. We're like, "Okay, yeah, 5 minutes. 5 minutes." We're like, it's kind of anticlimactic. I'm like, you guys, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be screaming. I'm not going to be sweating
I feel
and
like that
stuff.
would make it seem so much more like magical. Like, oh yeah, then the baby's just here. Rather
Right.
than sitting there, I'm
Right.
like, oh no, they've been pushing for 2 hours and we're still waiting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. I feel so bad. I can't tell very many people. They're like, seriously, even with my first, I think I pushed like 2.5 times, even with my first. So
Mm-hmm.
from my first to like the seventh, I've pushed less than 3 times. So
It's
and
incredible.
I'm just like, that's just how, I don't know, I'm just made to have babies. And
Mm-hmm.
so well, that's what we told them. We're like, so don't like, you know, don't be expecting a lot of dramatic or thematical things going on because it's
Yeah.
not. But yeah, so the delivery, so amazing. One of the things that I really, I don't know why I wanted this to happen, but I wanted her to touch her first, which she did because she delivered her. And so like when they plop, like she grabbed her and then she put her up on my stomach like they do. And I kind of was like, put my hands like, I don't know if I can touch her. Like I felt
Uh-huh.
like I was like, now she's yours. I don't want like any bond or anything outside of like the womb and stuff. But then it was so cute because then the dad cut the cord and then they immediately took her and put her skin to skin with the mom. And oh, it was like I replay that moment like so many times in my head because
Like
it
just thinking
is,
about that, I'm getting tears in my eyes. I'm like, oh my
I
gosh, that would be so
know.
special to witness.
I know
Yeah.
exactly. Like I kind of do. I kind of get choked up on just like because it's such a long, it's kind of a long process.
Yeah.
And like even when you find a surrogate and it's from like start to end, it is a long process. And so to finally have like the results of that come to for I mean, it is just it's so like it's the closest to heaven, I think, in those moments that you'll ever be a part of.
Mm-hmm. How long were you like in the room with the baby before they like took the baby? Or like
Right.
how does that work in the hospital? I don't know.
Yes. So like I said again, each couple is different.
Mm-hmm.
Some want to just be like have their family time, like this is like you've done your job, thank you very much, like you can be dismissed or whatever. But like I said, with these couples that we're doing it for, like we have such a special relationship and bond with them, and we were in the room with them for several hours, I want to say, before we even like we had dinner in the delivery room. Like we just because like nowadays like they want the baby to be like skin to skin as much as possible before they
Yeah.
even take them and weigh them and everything. Like they want that like bonding time. So we were in there a long time. And then also the hospital asks you, do you want to be next to the parents? And then they ask the parents, do you want to be next to the surrogate? Are you okay, like room wise?
Yeah.
And so we wanted to be right next to each other. So it was really cute. Sometimes I could hear her cry and stuff in the next room and everything. It was so cute when we went to, you know, the recovery rooms and everything. So the parents get their own room and then we get our own room as well. So we spent a lot of time in the like in and out of each other's rooms and stuff. It was so cute.
And is it weird like getting your milk come in and like
Oh,
stopping that? I'm like,
that's a funny story. So, um, with the first one, because they a lot, some people will nurse for
like the colostrum.
the baby. Some
Mm-hmm.
people will nurse them and stuff. We had made the arrangement that I wasn't going to do that because I actually have really bad milk. So I'm really good at like growing babies, but like after I can't sustain them. Like I
Mm-hmm.
give them like skim milk. It's so bad. And so I said, you guys would be wasting your money if you wanted me to pump because
Uh-huh.
I just don't do it. So I had asked my doctor if there's anything that I could do so that my milk didn't come in. And he's like, yeah, there's this pill, whatever. So then closer to delivery, I was like, hey, what about that pill? He's like, oh, actually, they found that that is like more detrimental to have that, to take it, than to just let your milk come in and go away. So I'm like, ah, great. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
It's like one of
so
the worst
then
parts, the pain after, like, oh,
oh, it is like to me, I feel like it is worse than childbirth.
oh
Like
no, it
that
really
pain.
can. Yeah.
It's so bad. So, so then, you know, they leave, the baby leaves. I don't nurse at all. And so I had her on a Wednesday. I had her on a Wednesday. And then I went to church on Sunday and there was a baby blessing that day.
Oh,
And I'm like sitting behind the baby. We just happened to be sitting behind this like 3-month old baby. And I'm just sitting there and the baby starts to cry and my milk came in. And I just like grabbed Andrew and I was like, oh my gosh, Andrew, my milk just came in. And it was just like, whoosh.
Yeah.
And we were like giggling to each other so bad because we were like, this baby doesn't know what she's doing to you. Like,
Yeah.
and so then after that, once my milk came in, I just did kind of like the old wives' tales of like, putting the cabbage leaves on and compression, and I used actually peppermint oil like actually helped a lot to relieve like the pain. And then I think it was probably like 4 or 5 days until it went down and then it just totally went away and I was totally fine.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah, it was funny.
What was the healing like? Because
Oh my
obviously,
gosh.
normally you're like having to also take care of a newborn while you're trying to heal. Did
Yeah.
it seem like it was easier? Oh, obviously easier because you don't have the baby, but as
Oh,
far as like just in general, was it better?
it was literally for me, my experience, it was expedited
Mm-hmm.
because the first day, so I had her at 7 p.m. and I was able to go to bed at like 9:30 or 10, I think it was, or I know it was later because we were in there. It was probably 10:30. I went to bed and I slept like a salt like my the doctor gave me like a sleeping pill too because I was like I am really hyped up. I just don't know if I'm
I
going to be
just had
able
the
to
best
sleep.
experience of my life. Yeah.
Yes. Seriously, I had so much. I was like, I don't know if I can like settle down to like go to sleep. And he's like, well, we can give you this pill. And so I'm like, give it to me. Sure. And so I took this like sleeping pill and like they came in and did like my lab work at like 2 in the morning. I didn't even, I was like, here's my arm. But I slept like 8, like full straight hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up and I was like, I've never experienced this in my
No
life.
kidding. Yeah.
This is so amazing. And so then so then we got discharged from the hospital and I slept another 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third day, and I kept on like sleeping throughout the entire week. Because, like I said, my milk didn't come in either.
Yeah.
So I was doing really good. And I could not believe the difference that I felt like within those like 5 days because I had slept. And I was like, that's why moms are crazy. Like
Yeah. But for real.
that's what I had come to the conclusion because I was like, they're not sleeping. They are not. And then the other thing is too is I think the emotional side and the mental side of having to worry about a newborn constantly,
Mm-hmm.
like weighs so much on you of like, oh, I gotta keep this baby alive or what's going on, and just that alone, like not having that worry and not having because I had a NICU baby too. So my fifth was a NICU baby
Mm-hmm.
and or sixth was a NICU baby. And so everyone kept on saying, "Oh, well, at least you get to sleep at home." And I was like,
You're
"No,
just
you
worried
don't
the whole
sleep."
time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was worried about her the whole time and I was feeling very split between having to be home and then being at the hospital and where I should be. And so no, I did not sleep even though I didn't have a newborn like sitting right there. And so with like the surrogacy, like I had no like connection. Like I had
Mm-hmm.
no obligation after I had had her and my healing, I can honestly say I was like I was totally fine after a week. Like
Yeah.
I
That's
could not
amazing.
believe it.
Yeah. So
I was
much
like, I
different.
am
Yeah.
so awesome. This is like I feel
Yeah.
so awesome right now.
Uh-huh. Did you keep in contact with that couple? Like, do you still keep in contact with them? Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They send us pictures like all the time. They they mail us like real pictures. They send us videos. It's so cute. Like
Mm-hmm.
and my kids love to see it too. Like cuz they keep on they're like, "Oh my gosh, she's so big." Like cuz she's 2 now.
Uh-huh.
She was 2 in October. So, yeah, we keep in good contact.
Did you know, like, immediately after that you're like, oh, I'll probably do this again? Or
Oh,
what made you
immediately.
decide, okay.
Yep. I was actually sitting in the bed and I said to the first couple, I was like, you guys, I would do this again for you. And they're like, Stephanie, you just had a baby. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know, but I would do this again for you. And so I originally, when I knew I was going to do it again, after I had, because it was like the coolest experience that I was like, I can't not do that again. Like, that was
Mm-hmm.
so cool. And so, when we had decided that we were going to do it again, and the other thing is, I use the word we because, like, this, like, doing this was just not about me. Like, my family is so involved in this, and they've made, like, so many sacrifices as well. And so I definitely want to make a nod towards them because, um, my kids have been troopers through it all. And my husband has been such a support and such a rock for me during it all that I couldn't do it without my family. So
Mm-hmm.
sorry.
No, that's
Um
okay. That's really sweet. Yeah.
yeah. So when we decided that we were going to do it again, I we had reached out to the first couple, and it was about like a year after, and I was like, "Hey, I realize that she's only a year old. But we want to do this again. Are you guys interested in us caring for you again? What's your family situation like and everything?" And so they're like, "Let us think about it. Let us kind of pray about it and think about it, and we'll get back to you." So after like 2 weeks, they got back to us and they said, "You know what? We've really taken some time on deciding and kind of contemplating this, and we've realized that, like, our family for the at this time is complete, and that um we're not going to try anymore." And I said, "That's totally fine. I wanted to give you guys like the first, like, shot at my uterus."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Hey, but if you have any friends or if you know anybody that needs a surrogate," because they kind of lived in the surrogate world, and so they had a lot of
Connections.
connections and friends
Mm-hmm.
that actually were in need of surrogate. They had actually a family, uh, really close friends that had a surrogate as well. And so I said, "If you know anybody or if you have any friends, let me know." And so she reached out to this couple that we're currently doing it to and said, "Hey, our carrier is wanting to do it. Are you guys ready to do it? Do you want to do it?" And so then that's how we got connected with
Mm-hmm.
the ones that we're doing it to now. For now, is because they were our first families, like, really, really good friends. And so that it's really cool how, like, the connection with that. So we're actually wanting to, like, all meet up together because we
Mm-hmm.
have actually met all together before and stuff. And so we want to meet all up together, and it's just a really fun connection between the three of us.
Oh yeah. Has it been like very different experience between the two, or has it felt pretty similar?
So with the first family, the mom, I actually texted her when I had made the connection with the second mom. And I texted her because she's actually a therapist. She's like a, yeah, like a therapist
The first
and
mom.
like a counselor. Yeah.
Okay.
And I had said, "I am really concerned that I'm going to compare you guys' experience with theirs
Mm-hmm.
because I don't feel like we can top yours experience. Like, it was so cool. Like, our connection was so natural. I just feel like I'm really worried about, like, having really high expectations and expecting a lot of, like, how it went before, and I'm really nervous about it." And she, like, is very, very eloquent and very, very good with words, and she said, "Stephanie, just the fact that you're concerned about that is such like a real and beautiful thing." And she said, "Just make it its own experience. You're going to compare just by nature of things. You're going to compare and you're going to see different things, but try really hard just to make it its own experience." And so I went into it like thinking that. I'm like, "Okay, I'm just going to have it be what it is." And it is so cool that these guys we have related with on a different level than we did with the first couple. It is very different, like, because this is their first baby,
Oh,
whereas
it
the
is.
second is their third. Yeah. Or the first was their third. And so we've had such a different experience with these guys, but very, very similar, and such a deep connection even with these guys. And so I'm just like very, very grateful because I don't think that happens like to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Do they come up here like for the ultrasounds and stuff? Do they fly? Are they in
They're in
Texas?
Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So they flew up for the big anatomy scan
Yeah.
and stuff. And then they're going to be here in like 2 weeks, in a week and a half.
For
So
go
they'll be,
time.
yes. And so
Yeah.
they're going to be able to go to the last couple like appointments. And so they'll be
Mm-hmm.
able to see her and stuff that way. And the one thing that they asked me from like the very beginning, they're like, what would you do different from this with this experience than you did with your first? And I said, the one thing that would give me so much like peace of mind is if you guys were close the last month of the pregnancy, because this other couple, they originally started in Dallas, but then they moved in the middle of their pregnancy to New York. So they were so far away. And so
And as we
I,
know, you go really fast. So
yes,
yeah.
yes. And the thing is my water has never broke. I've never been in labor outside of a hospital. So
Uh-huh.
I don't even know what that experience is. And so I can't even tell, I was like, I can't even tell you what would happen if my water broke. Like, and so I, I said to him, like, if you guys could be close, like, that would help me, like, have so much peace of mind. And so they're like, we'll be there. So her family has a Airbnb in Provo. So they're just going to stay in Provo until the baby's born.
Which
And then
that's
they're going to,
pretty close. That's good.
yeah, 4 hours.
Yeah.
I can hold off for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
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 So then, they're gonna drive up for the last couple of appointments and stuff, and it was funny. The one thing I said to him, I was like, "Okay, you guys, one thing that I will say to you: anytime you come to an appointment, just expect that maybe we'll have a baby that day. You just
Mm-hmm.
never know." And
It's
so I'm
true.
like, just bring everything when you drive up. Bring everything that you would to bring her home. So yeah, just that peace of mind is just going to be awesome that they're going to be here.
Do you know how long this couple was trying before? Because the first one, she couldn't.
Right. So this couple, they've been married 10 years
Okay.
and they haven't been able to have a baby. So it's just such a fun experience to like finally have them have a baby. It's
Yeah.
just like the coolest thing.
Okay. I did think of one more, like, kind of random question. You were talking
Yeah.
about Andrew. What has the experience been like for him? Because, like, obviously, if Bert were to see me with his baby in my stomach, it's a whole different thing. But
Right.
when it's not his baby,
Right.
was it weird for him or was it just, I don't know. Oh, my wife's pregnant again. I don't know. you know?
Exactly. Honestly, I would love to ask him that question and really see what his answer is, but like I have been pregnant for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And
He knows
so
no different.
he probably doesn't. He probably doesn't know any different. But what was really, really funny with like the first baby that we did it for, um, anytime that he would touch my stomach, she would like kick. It was hilarious. So then we started calling him like the creepy boyfriend. Like, like
Get out of here.
yeah, we're like, "Golly, you creeper, like get out," and
Uh-huh.
stuff. Because like anytime that he would come and like touch my stomach, we're like, "Oh, she does not like you. You're a
Yes.
creeper." And then what's really funny with this one, she doesn't. We're like, because we had told the other couple that, and we're like, yeah, with the first, like, she kept on like kicking him and stuff. And we're like, I wonder what she's gonna be like with him with this one and stuff. And she's been super sweet and nice and inviting to him and stuff. But yeah, Andrew, like, he loves, like, he goes to every one of my appointments
Oh, he
at the doctor.
does.
He
Oh,
does. And he has done that from baby one all the way to baby eight.
I don't know
And
what that would be like.
I know. and he has gone to all of them.
Uh-huh.
And like sometimes I'm like, you don't have to come. Like I can handle it. Like it's
Uh-huh.
not, but he's like, so he had told me, he's like, I like to be there. Like I want to be there. And so I was like, okay, come on in. I don't really
Uh-huh.
care. So he just loves like the whole experience of it all.
Yeah.
Like he likes to see the ultrasounds and he likes to hear what the doctor says, and he likes to have everything in like real time of what's going on and stuff. And he literally, I think he's missed less than 5 appointments.
Okay. Yeah, you guys were just like made to have babies, the both of you together, clearly. It's
Well, and
really sweet.
what was really really cool about kind of how like backtracking, but like how we kind of even had the agreement of doing it is he was so we hadn't talked about doing it like surrogacy and stuff, and I had started thinking about it, and I hadn't told Andrew, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. After it had been a year, we had Bree, our last a year, and she was a year old, and I just kind of started thinking about maybe I should start looking into surrogacy and stuff, and I hadn't even talked to Andrew. And then like after I had that thought, 3 days later, he said, hey, do you want to like start looking into like being a surrogate? And I was like, oh my
That's
gosh, Andrew. I
that's
was like,
crazy.
I know. I was like, I was just thinking about that. And
Yeah.
so definitely we have been on the same page through the day one of this whole thing.
That's super super sweet. It almost like kind of feels
Yeah.
romantic for some reason. I'm like, why? I don't know,
Right.
but it does. It does.
Yeah.
It seems really sweet. Did you say that this I'm like trying to remember. Did you say this is your last one? Like, are you gonna?
Yes.
Okay, so you do know you're not gonna do it again after this.
Yes. I do
Okay.
know that I am like retiring.
Okay.
I'm
What
like,
made? Did you just feel like okay? I think I'm done, or
well, what's really crazy about it is I've had like 3 people ask me, like, would you do it for my sister or would you do it for my daughter-in-law or and I
mm-hmm.
have had 3 people ask me to do it, and I'm just like, I am done. I
Yeah.
feel like for one, I turned 40 this year, and so I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like
Yeah.
it's weird, like, because like when I go into the high school, my son's high school pregnant, like I'm just like, I shouldn't have a high schooler and be pregnant. Like I don't know why.
Even when it's not yours, but still.
It's not even mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was really, really funny is my oldest, he's in ninth grade and he's taking a child development class right now. And he had to put on a pregnant suit and walk around the classroom and stuff. So that was a fun experience that I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
you got to be like what I'm doing. And then he had to bring a baby home and care for a baby, like the robot babies and stuff.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just like a funny thing. I'm like, I shouldn't have a 15-year-old like having the same
Doing that.
experience as me. Like, I'm like, this is weird. Yeah, but honestly, no, I'm just like, I feel like I've like completed the chapter like
Yeah.
of like childbearing, and a lot of people like they keep on asking me like, oh my gosh, like do you feel sad, like are you gonna be sad like after like that, that you're not gonna have any more babies? And I was like, I don't know, like I don't know if my body's gonna freak out because I'm not pregnant in 2 years, like
It
I
won't
don't
know
know
what to
how
do
that's
with
gonna,
itself. Yeah.
seriously, I don't know, like I don't know how it's gonna be, but I feel like in my heart, like I feel like I'm like, it's complete. I'm done. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I can just, fall back on that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, you're such a blessing in their lives. Like, how cool.
It's so cool.
I love it.
So cool.
Mm-hmm.
But like I will say, it is not for everybody. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
know that this is something that, because the thing I think about it too is it's like I feel really really strongly that if you have a desire to do something, then like you do it and
Yeah.
stuff, and not everybody has this desire to be a surrogate. And so that's kind of how I'm like, yeah, this was something that I wanted to do. I had a desire to do it. It worked out, and it's just the coolest thing ever. It's been such a fun experience for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really appreciate you talking through it with me. It's been so
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
I know. It's so weird. Like, there's a lot of people that are like, I've never met a surrogate. I'm like, now you have. I
I
know.
know. Yeah. And I wish you like all the luck. I really hope that it's a very similar experience to your first
Oh, same
delivery
here.
with that. I really
Same
hope
here.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I know it's like been over an hour, so I'll let you go. But thanks again for
Okay.
talking with me.
Yep.
Okay.
See
Bye
ya.
bye. I am so, so blessed. Again, it being the week of Thanksgiving, which can we just talk about the fact that she made that analogy about like the Thanksgiving feast and how surrogacy was kind of like that. And I just love that. And I thought, how perfect that I'm releasing this episode this week of Thanksgiving. That was perfect. Anyway, I have to say again, I'm so thankful for my 4 wonderful, crazy, but so sweet children. I know how blessed I am to have been able to get pregnant with them, carry them, deliver them, and have them here with me. I have not had the unfortunate experience of suffering with fertility and having to go through all the different whirlwind of emotions that entails, and then going through the treatments and all the things that people do to get their beautiful babies here. And it's because of people like Stephanie that some people get their babies, and I just think that she is just, I said it in the episode, a hero and such a bright light for those families that she gets to bring their babies into. Man, I just like I can't even imagine. So I thought it was so cool to get to talk to her, and I really did like get emotional. I had tears welling up in my eyes when she was talking about the moment that she was able to like hand the baby to the family, and she's coming up close on her due date for her second journey, and she's going to get to experience that again. And this family, it's their first child, and I just like can't even imagine what it would be like to be in that room. I just can't stress enough like how awesome it is that I think Stephanie has done this. And she really is like the cutest pregnant person I've ever seen. And when I saw her and she said she was due in December, I was like, there's no way. But she's just a really cute person. I hope that you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving week, eating food, being surrounded by your loved ones, whatever it is that you're doing, shopping for Christmas, whatever it is you decide to do. I hope it's great. If you have a story, please reach out to me. I'd love to have you on the podcast. I'm always looking for good stories. You can find me on Instagram at Sippin' On Stories Podcast, or you can email me, sippinonstoriespodcast@gmail.com. You can get a hold of me either of those ways, or if you know me, you can just send me a message. I will talk to you soon. Goodbye, Sipsters.